As a parent, you've likely spent countless hours researching, planning, and implementing diet changes and detoxes for your child, knowing that our kids today are exposed to a greater toxic load than ever before, and that all these chemicals and toxins that kids are exposed to early and often in life have to play a role in your child's chronic health challenges like autism, ADHD, allergies, epilepsy, and more. And you probably already eliminated dozens, if not hundreds, of foods, carefully planned meals, and invested in expensive supplement protocols to try and heal the gut and get ahead. But despite your tireless efforts, your child is still struggling with gut issues, immune challenges, and behavioral problems. If this sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. Many dedicated parents find themselves stuck in this frustrating cycle, watching their child battle chronic health issues despite their best efforts and all sorts of restrictive diets. But what if there's a crucial factor that's being overlooked? Today, we're going to explore why diet changes and detoxes often fall short and introduce you to a groundbreaking approach that could be the missing piece in your child's healing journey. This video is for parents who have exhausted dietary interventions and natural remedies to help their children overcome chronic health issues, but are still searching for answers and for lasting solutions. We're going to discuss why diet changes and detoxes often fail to fully resolve chronic pediatric health challenges, and we're going to introduce you to the concept of the perfect storm and explain how addressing an overstressed and dysfunctional nervous system first may be the missing link to finally getting the results that you've been working so hard for. Now, 10 plus years ago, the majority of our new patients had already been through rounds and rounds of medications like antibiotics, stimulants, and so forth. But back then, very few families had gone too far down the road of diet changes, detoxes, supplements, and natural remedies. Now that sounds pretty crazy to say today when the vast majority of us are not just well aware of all sorts of diets like gluten-free, casein-free, paleo, keto, carnivore, and so forth. But if you've gone all in on natural health, you may be also cold plunging, eating tons of protein every day, and taking naps inside of an infrared sauna. Today, the good news is that less than 20% of our new patients come in already on medications, which is a massive and an incredibly positive shift from just a decade ago. But at the same time, nearly 80% of our new patients have already implemented things like diet changes, detoxes, and massive supplement protocols, but they still struggle and still have chronic health issues. So what gives? What is the real root cause and missing link if healing the gut and going fully gluten, casein, and chemical free doesn't do the job? Keep watching. We've got the answer for you. First, high stress pregnancies and birth trauma show up before toxins and chemicals enter the mix. To understand why diet changes and detoxes often fall short, we need to examine the perfect storm concept. This refers to a series of events when combined create the ideal conditions for chronic illness in children. First, high stress pregnancies can have a profound impact on a child's developing nervous system. Maternal stress hormones like cortisol can cross the placenta and alter the delicate balance of the fetus's developing brain and the nervous system. Additionally, the umbilical cord acts essentially as a power cord connecting the mother's nervous system to the baby's developing brain and nervous system. So if there is a lot of stress and anxiety through the pregnancy, that can begin to pre-wire the child's nervous system to be more stuck in sympathetic fight or flight stress as well. Next, birth trauma and interventions, which are becoming more common, such as C-sections, forceps, and vacuum extractions, can cause physical strain to the newborn's neck and their brainstem region. This is super important because this area houses and protects the vagus nerve, which is crucial for proper nervous system function, specifically the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the important side that regulates rest, digestion, and detoxing. And we know if it's not functioning properly, even with the perfect diet and all sorts of detox supplements, the results will still be very limited. Second, Subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and nervous system imbalance shut down the gut and the immune system. When the developing nervous system is thrown off track by all those perfect storm stressors that we just talked about, those stressors show up early and often, and it leads to something called subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and dysautonomia. Simply put, this means the nervous system is stuck in stress mode. Once it gets stuck there, one of the first things it does is to shut down gut motility or movement and elimination. It weakens and suppresses the immune system, and it leaves the body in a pro-inflammatory state. Does any of that sound familiar? Once we get stuck there, even the best diet changes and detox protocols have a hard time breaking through and getting results. So what's the solution? Get scanned and find out. This is where neurologically focused chiropractic care comes in. At the Pediatric Chiropractic Center, we use state-of-the-art technology, including Insight scans, to accurately detect and measure nervous system dysfunction and find out if your child's nervous system is stuck in sympathetic fight or flight stress mode. If it is, then that means we've finally been able to pinpoint and find out why your child has not responded to all the diet changes, detoxes, and natural remedies that perhaps other kids have. Now let me pull up 2 different scans that we use here in our office. We use a total of 3. I'm going to show you 2 here today. This one is the EMG scan. This is showing how much neurologic tension is on this child's nervous system. Now, I don't have a normal scan here for reference, but a normal scan would have a nice balance and symmetrical white bars from head down to that tailbone. This one, we are obviously seeing a whole bunch of colors, including red, blue, and green. Now, green is mild stress, blue is moderate, and red is severe stress. We're seeing a lot of red through this child's neck region and even into their mid-back and their low back. And what I want you to take away from this is that this kiddo's nervous system is in full-on stress mode. There is a lot of extra neurologic tension through here. And when we look at this, a couple of really important areas up in the neck, both sides are super red. We talked about where that vagus nerve is housed. That vagus nerve is at the very top of our neck, and it is the part that regulates, restores, balances the rest and digest side of the nervous system, right? It does all of the good things for our nervous system when we are in a balanced spot. When there is that much dysfunction, dysregulation, or dysautonomia in the upper neck there, we know that vagus nerve is not doing its job. So no amount of supplements or other types of diet changes are going to help improve that gut motility and elimination or the immune struggles until we get that vagus nerve back on track. And also, as we travel down in this kiddo's nervous system to the mid and low back, now we're getting to some of the local control of the GI tract, that motility and elimination side of the gut. And again, if we have a lot of stress through this area, which we clearly do on these scans, we need to address that first. If we get that nervous system back to a regulated state, then the diet changes, the supplements, and all the regimens we have our children on will go so much further because we actually have a nervous system that's doing its job. I'm going to take this scan down. I'm going to show you one more scan. There we go. That we use in our office. This one is heart rate variability. This is measuring globally how well our body is balanced between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, right? The fight or flight and that rest and digest side. We should be in good balance between those two. And what we're seeing here with this kiddo is that white dot that is shifted over to the left in that yellow zone. What we really want to see with this is that it's midline, so perfectly in the middle on that vertical line, and up high in that green zone. So we know because of that left shift on this HRV scan that that's showing us that kiddo is in a more sympathetic fight or flight state. The left side of this graph shows us the sympathetic dominant side. So when the dot is off to the left, we know this kiddo is wound up. They're in that fight or flight mode. And again, when we live in here constantly and we can't get back to balance and we can't activate that vagus nerve and the parasympathetic side of the nervous system, we know that gut and immune and so many other beneficial things, but gut and immune systems are just not regulated well. Our gut, our elimination, the gut motility, all of it is not prioritized when our body is in a fight or flight mode. So as a pediatric chiropractor, my job is to activate that vagus nerve, activate that parasympathetic nervous system, and restore balance between the two. Because when there's balance, then our body can do what it's supposed to do, right? Sleep gets back on track, digestion, immune function get back on track, because the body can actually work through those challenges. But we need to do those things first before we expect things like diet changes and detoxes and supplements to get us all the way there. They might give us some improvement, but oftentimes we hear families and kiddos and even parents say that they're doing all those things, but they're just noticing that it has plateaued or it's not getting them all the way through their challenges. This is the reason. These are the reasons that we see kiddos so often in our office come in on these large supplement regimens, but just are not getting the results that they were expecting. I'm going to take this down here. I hope those scans give you a little bit more insight into what we do here in the office. And if you feel like you've tried it all and nothing has fully worked just yet, then it's almost certainly a case of subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and dysautonomia. No one else in healthcare tests for nervous system dysfunction and dysregulation like this. So these insight scans could be the missing link that you've been searching for all along. Once we have these scans and the neurometrics, as we call them, the scores that come from them, we can then create a customized and personalized care plan made specifically for you or for your child. If this video hits home for you, mom and dad, click the link in our bio to schedule a consult and the Insight Scan appointment with us at the Pediatric Chiropractic Center right away.